With Rogue One literally days away from premiering here in the US, my question to you is, are you ready? Hello everyone, I'm Paul T. Thanks again for watching the DSLR Chronicles, where together we will master filmmaking one frame at a time. And again, don't worry, there are no spoilers in this video. I have not seen Rogue One yet, so you don't have to worry about that. I'd be pretty pissed myself if I watched something that somebody gave something away that was very critical to the film that they may have not wanted revealed yet. So I'm not in the business of doing spoilers, so you don't have to worry about that. So as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, the premiere of Rogue One is only a couple days away here in the US, and I'm going to go see it. I'm going to actually see it in 3D IMAX. Looking forward to that. Here at some of the theaters, they allow you to go, via Fandango. You can go on and purchase your ticket and reserve your seat. I actually did it only a couple of hours after they released the tickets for Rogue One back in November. The trailer really intrigued me, and I saw the trailer when I went to go watch Doctor Strange. Also watched that in 3D IMAX, and I said, because I wasn't really, sold on the franchise after the prequels, which was like Phantom Menace and, Revenge of the Sith and Clone Wars. At that point, it just kind of dropped out. But Force Awakens, it was okay. It kind of got me back curious about what they were trying to do with Star Wars. And then when I saw the trailer for this, I said, hell yes, I'm going to go see it. So the reason I made this video is to keep with the theme of my channel, which is we learn filmmaking by watching other films, by talking about filmmaking, and then actually going and doing filmmaking. So with this video, we're looking at the aspect of watching other films. And as a beginning filmmaker, or even as a student of film, which I consider myself a student of film, I implore you to always be watching new films. And I can't think of a better opportunity than to watch a historically significant film such as Rogue One, a Star Wars story. So just within the franchise itself of Star Wars, there's a lot of history behind it. I myself grew up watching the original Star Wars movies, which was A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and The Return of the Jedi. And then years later, they made what they termed as the prequels, which was The Phantom Menace, The Attack of the Clone Wars, and then The Revenge of the Sith. And I did not like any of those films. And, I don't know what they were doing with that. I mean, I appreciate them trying to do the reboot, but it just didn't work for me. So at that point, I really just fell out with the keeping up with Star Wars and things like that. I didn't watch Clone Wars on Cartoon Network or anything like that. I just stayed away from the franchise. And then last year, everyone was really hyping Force Awakens. The Force Awakens. I said, well, hell, everybody else is seeing it. I'll go check it out. And then so I watched it. I thought it was okay. I didn't love it, but it was cinematically, it was beautiful. It was perfect. The acting in it was really great, and it kept me curious to really just stick along with it for whatever was coming my way as far as Star Wars. I really, really loved that character, the Kylo Ren character. I thought that was a very brilliant move on their part to introduce that guy and that actor himself, because I don't remember seeing anything else he's done prior to that, but I thought he did a really great job. So looking forward to seeing that character in the upcoming, sequels they're making to that. So then that brings us to Rogue One. And what you should know about this film is that it is what they're calling an anthology. So according to Wikipedia, there's going to be 3 of these, and they are considered standalone films, meaning that these are original stories made only for these little anthologies that they're making. They do not cross over in any way with the original Star Wars timeline, other than, not the timeline, but they do not cross over into the storyline of the other films, other than that, Vader's in these, and, the Death Star is still present. So almost think of it like, how they do some of these spin-offs of Naruto or Naruto Shippuden, you know, they're not really canon, but they're still part of the overall thing. We like to term them as fillers, but I don't believe these Star Wars anthologies would be considered fillers. They're just going off doing their own little stories that, you know, don't really necessarily intersect with the main storyline, but nevertheless, they're still within the Star Wars realm. So again, when I looked at Wikipedia, it looks like there's going to be 3 of these. The next one's going to be the Han Solo one, and the third one, I believe, is still untitled. Again, that just brings us back to Rogue One coming up, being the first one in the anthology, and hopefully, you know, it keeps me engaged, wanting to see the other ones. Right now, I believe on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 84% score, which is pretty good. It's a score with the critics. I didn't believe the last time I watched, last time I visited the website, I don't believe I saw the audience score because, again, the movie hasn't premiered yet. I believe it's supposed to premiere tonight. Today's Wednesday, December 14th. I believe it's supposed to premiere tonight in the UK. So maybe we'll have some more data come back around that. But overall, I think the sentiment is going to be pretty positive. So it brings us back to us as filmmakers, students of films, things like that. As a beginning filmmaker, as a person who's going to be writing your own screenplay, directing your own films, and, you know, producing your own films, there's 3 things I'd like you to keep in mind when you go to watch Rogue One. And the first one of those is to look out for the hook. So most movies, if you've noticed, there's always something that happens between the first 1 to 3 to 5 minutes of the film to really just kind of keep you engaged with what's maybe going to come, and to just kind of give you a quick idea of what the story's going to be about. So a really good example I can give you is the opening of Interstellar. There's quite a few things going on there. So when the movie kind of pans in, you see kind of the dust falling on the little miniature toys on the bookshelf. And then we cut to Cooper, which is played by Matthew McConaughey. He's in his shuttle, and it's malfunctioning and things like that. And it looks like you know, he's about to crash, and then he wakes up from his dream. So a lot just happened in that little bit of seconds. So it foreshadows, which is another thing you should learn as a filmmaker, is foreshadowing, something that's giving you some information of what's to come. And if you've seen Interstellar, you know that they were suffering from blight. There was all this dust just everywhere, just really just ruining the crops and killing everything. And then 2, from that opening, you learned that Matthew McConaughey was a pilot, and he actually had his plane to crash, and he survived it. So that was a very traumatic experience for him, but it kept you engaged. That was the hook. Another recent hook was, again, like I saw Doctor Strange, and you saw where they broke into the library, they killed the librarian, stole the thing, and then the headmaster of that little school, she chases them around, and they do their little thing where they're, you know, teleporting places and things like that. That kind of sets you up for what's to come and what the story's going to be about. That's what the hook does. And that's something you want to keep in mind whenever you're writing your screenplay. You want something to happen within those first few minutes in order to keep the audience engaged. Again, you'll notice television shows do that as well. Breaking Bad was famous for doing that before it cuts to its little, where it says Breaking Bad. But, you know, there was always something happening, and then the Breaking Bad thing, and then you get back into the story. So both television and film does that. And it's something you want to keep in mind whenever you're writing your screenplays. Short films, you may not have time to do something like a hook. And that's mainly what we focus on, is doing short films. But, you know, we're not going to be doing short films forever. And even if you get to the point to where you're making longer short films that are like under 30 minutes and things like that, that may give you some room to include a hook. So just keep that in mind. The second thing to look out for is the cinematography. And I believe from what I read on imdb.com, this film is shot digitally. And I believe it is the second film in the franchise to have been shot digitally, with the other one being the Phantom Menace, I believe. So it was shot on an Arri Alexa 65 with Panavision 70 lenses. I don't really know all the technical specifications about all of that, but I do believe that combination of what I just told you, it's what's giving you the 3D IMAX option. Also, too, the cinematographer, his name is, I believe it's Greg Fraser, something like that. I'm not too familiar with his work, but I did see that he was the cinematographer on Zero Dark 30, and I loved Zero Dark 30. It was a beautiful looking film. The story itself was great as well. And so I believe this guy will do some justice to it as far as the visual look. And again, if you watch the trailer, you can just see what's already going on. And again, that was what hooked me. Again, I don't want you to get too sold on only the visual effects of the film, because, you know, what you really want to come away with is a good story. And if you don't have a great story, then nobody cares about what you shot it on or how beautiful it looks. If it sucks, it sucks. Nobody cares. So again, don't get too caught up in the technical specifications as far as, you know, what it was shot on and things like that. But you do want to just kind of get an idea of the angles they use and some of, like, you know, the big shots they use as far as, like, you know, establishing shots. And again, when I watched The Force Awakening, that film looked very beautiful. They had a lot of good, beautiful footage. And so, you know, hopefully that this film will, that'll carry over into this film. I don't believe they were the same cinematographer for those films, but it looks like this one looks visually stunning, so we'll see. And lastly, one of the big things I want you to pay attention to is the acting. And with the acting, we're talking about, you know, how the characters are introduced, you know, how the characters interact with each other. Mainly listen for the dialogue, because as a screenwriter, that's very important to you, how the dialogue comes across from the actor's mouth to the audience. And you want to get a sense of, are you convinced by the actors? You know, are you so convinced that you're actually pulled into the movie, or is you just at the point to where you're saying, I'm watching a film? At that point, they didn't do a good job as far as actors. So watch the acting. I'm not too familiar with a lot of the actors in this one, especially the lead actress. I am not familiar with any of her work other than I think she was in one of the, you know, follow-up movies from the Da Vinci Code. I believe it was Inferno or something like that. I didn't see the film. So hopefully she does a really good job, a really good convincing job. Also, Forrest Whitaker is in this film. He's a great actor, and I see that he has a very interesting character, so I'm looking forward to that. As well as I heard that James Earl Jones is back doing Vader's voice. Again, I kind of got disengaged with the franchise, so I'll have to go check that to make sure. But I believe that was the story, is that James Earl Jones was brought back to do Vader's voice. So that'll be very interesting all these years later. So we'll see how that works out. And one actor to really be on the lookout for is Mads Mikkelsen. This is the guy that played the villain in Casino Royale, the one with Daniel Craig. And he was also the villain in Doctor Strange. And I really didn't too much care for his performance in Doctor Strange. I was kind of let down after seeing how well he did in Casino Royale. But he's a great actor overall. He plays the Hannibal character in the Showtime series Hannibal. And I'm looking forward to his performance as well, because anytime I get a chance to see this guy, I like to see his performance. I haven't seen a lot of his other work other than like Casino Royale and some of the show Hannibal. But again, I wasn't really too impressed with his character in Doctor Strange, but very much looking forward to his character in Rogue One. So be on the lookout for that guy, because I know he's going to do a really good job. So again, that's it, everyone. Just wanted to make this video from the standpoint of filmmakers and students of film. Again, looking forward to watching Rogue One, and hopefully you guys will get a chance to check it out and get some takeaways from it as well, to just get an idea of how movies work as far as the 3-act structure that we talk about, which is beginning, middle, and end. And, again, to just get a sense of what we talked about as far as, when the hook kicks in and how effective the hook was into getting you interested in the film. They already did a really good job with the trailer, so let's see how that works with the hook. Then you want to kind of look at how visually stunning the film is as far as the cinematography. And then you want to just check out how the actors deliver the dialogue and, how they act within the film in order to really get you convinced in the characters that they're playing. So that's all I have, everyone. Thanks for checking out the video. If this is your first time to my channel, right here on the DSLR Chronicles, we talk about filmmaking, we talk about films, and then we actually go and do filmmaking. So if you browse some of my videos, you'll see that I have some short films that I've made. You'll see a lot of videos kind of chronicling the short film that I have coming up called Trickle Down Autonomy. We were supposed to be shooting the last part of that this weekend, but it looks like the weather won't permit. So we had to come up with a backup date, and it looks like we may have to go ahead and initiate that backup date. I'm going to be contacting everyone, and we're going to get them all on that date. We're going to shoot this thing. We're going to finish it up. We're going to get it into Final Cut, edit it, and then put it up on the web for everyone to see, and then get it out to film festivals. And if you want to learn more about me and what I do, please be sure to just subscribe to the channel. And when you subscribe, click that notification button so that whenever I upload new videos, you'll be the first one to know. Also, check me out on Snapchat and Instagram. I'm very active on both platforms, having a lot of fun there, uploading a lot of content daily. Since I am a storyteller, Snapchat is really native to me. I can do a beginning, middle, and end every single day. Just coming from, having that filmmaking background, writing scripts and things like that, writing stories. So check out the stuff I'm doing there. And on Instagram, the screen name there is IAM_Paul T. Again, that's IAM_Paul T. That's all I have, guys. Thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you guys again later. Hopefully you enjoy Rogue One. I'll probably do a follow-up video just talking about my experience watching the film and what I loved about it, what maybe I thought could have been done better. And that's it. So thanks again for watching, guys. Enjoy Rogue One, and I'll talk to you later.